Hello and welcome to Unanswered Questions. Sometimes during our live broadcasts into classrooms, we don't get enough time to answer all the amazing questions from students. So we're going to answer some of the top upvoted questions we didn't get to. Let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do her. And by the way, I'm Darren.
I'm Brandon. We don't have to do the intros like that. We don't have to share our names.
I want people to know who I am.
Okay.
I'm Darren.
He's Darren. I'm Brandon. If you don't know that by now, what are you doing here? First question. Are privacy policies always accurate and complete?
Yeah, they're always accurate and complete, but you need to read the second question in coordination with question one, which should I read terms and conditions before agreeing to them? Therein lies the problem, because the terms and conditions, the TOS, are like usually 10 pages of microprint in which you need a magnifying glass and a law degree to understand them.
Yeah. So are they always accurate and complete? What's interesting, when you actually read them, they usually have like an escape clause where here's everything we do, but at the very end, it's like, but technically we can change the policy at any moment. You don't have to approve it. And ultimately we can do whatever we want.
And when you click that accept the terms button, you're locked in.
So yeah. And just because an organization, a company has a privacy policy, it doesn't necessarily mean every person working for that organization understands the policy or has good intentions to use it. So
yeah, there's a number of organizations that look at a lot of the terms and service and privacy policies of a lot of these big players out there. Media Smarts does it. Common Sense Media does it as well. So if you kind of want to put the 10 pages of microprint, in which you need a law degree, into understandable bite-sized chunks, check out Media Smarts, check out Common Sense Media, where they kind of do that for you as well, right? But I mean, that's one of the things that we always do before we test and evaluate any product, be it hardware or software. One of the first things we always do is look at the terms of service, because we're privacy hawks here, right? So
yeah. And ultimately, they're all kind of the same now.
They are.
It's usually whenever there's an organization that has something questionable, usually advocacy folks usually bring that to your attention. So
what I'm waiting for is to see what the new AI privacy is going to look like, right? Because it's so new. There's the privacy in terms of service they've come out with are kind of bare bones minimum right now. And I think it's going to be different than what we see in the legacy social media, but I'm going to wait and see, right? So, yeah.
Should I read the terms and conditions before agreeing to them?
We just kind of dealt with that, right?
Yes. Ideally, you should in a perfect world.
But
however,
people do that?
No one
other than us?
Well, okay. So most people don't. And to be fair, most organizations like social media games, they're pretty much all saying the same thing. So it's usually whenever there's a group, there's something that there shouldn't be or something mysterious happening. Usually that does get called out on social media. But perfect world, yes. But if you just go into any organization, group, or app or program, assuming that everything you do is public, searchable, permanent, sellable, just always assume that.
I mean, it's like your mom says, these things are like somebody threw up on a page, right?
Yeah.
And in cases of TOS, it's like usually 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pages full of legalese that, again, you kind of go, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? So
are there different types of hackers?
That's a good question for you.
Yeah, there's good hackers. There's bad hackers. There's hackers who hack for good, who have proper training, certificates, legal authorizations, contractual agreements to use the bad strategies.
Those are called white hat hackers, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Pen testers as well.
Pen testers, yeah.
And then sometimes there are people who just hack for bad. So hacking isn't inherently good or bad. It's more so how you choose to use it and what parameters you have and what authority you have to do that.
Absolutely.
Can malware or a virus access my webcam without me knowing?
That's a great question. We get that all the time, actually.
Anything is technically possible. I will say in today's world, that is a lot more challenging to achieve.
Why is that? Like 10 years ago, yes, not so much common now. Why?
When it comes to your device operating system, it prevents most drive-by attacks where you go on a bad website and you get hacked right away. Used to happen maybe early 2000s. Nowadays, not so much. So, and normally your devices give you a lot of prompts going, are you sure you want to allow this? Are you sure you want to allow this? Problem is user error is people don't read the pop-ups and they allow access to all parameters, all permissions for all apps they download. That's the challenge.
This kind of segues nicely into, and we see this kind of being recycled every couple of months, but there was that phishing attack going out there that we've been watching you because we put a malicious piece of software on your computer. We've been watching on your webcam doing things sexually to yourself because you were watching porn sites and blah, 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 blah. Please pay us this amount of money. So the likelihood of that happening is extremely low.
And if it is happening, they're going to use proof to actually prove it to you, which we have seen in the past. Yeah. But that's like in the worst case scenario.
Would you still recommend, like, hey, listen, if you're a little concerned about that, just put like a little Band-Aid over your camera on your laptop or your desktop? On cell phones, really not a big deal? Like, if you're that concerned.
It ultimately depends on how you use your device.
Right.
It's entirely up to you. If you're someone who just browses news articles and does the crossword every day online, you probably don't have a whole lot to worry about. Yeah. But if you're a gamer, downloading a lot of mods, downloading a lot of programs from different sites, then you're at a higher risk.
Yeah, for sure.
Can apps record me without my permission? It depends on what you mean by record. So is it like use your camera without permission? No, because in order for a program to access a camera, you're going to need to give it permission from your device, your phone or operating system. Now, can they record everything you're doing while on the app, such as any voice chats you're having that are going through the app server, any conversations you're having that, again, are going through the app server? Well, then yes. But to record you from your camera, not so much unless you give it permission.
I mean, a really good example, Meta has announced that starting this month, anything that you're putting into Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp, anything you're putting in there, pictures, video, audio, is all being used by them to train their artificial intelligence large language model, right? So
yep,
it's going on.
Can someone lock me out of my own email? It's definitely a strategy that hackers will try to achieve. Probably if someone gets access to your email, that's like the golden key to everything you do on the internet. So definitely hackers will do their best to access your email because that is your golden account.
And one of the primary tactics we see them using is that phishing attack where they say, hey, I'm a friend of yours. Listen, something's happened with regards to my access of my Instagram site. Can you do me a favor? I'm sending you this code. Can you just click on this code, fill out the information, and send it to me? And as soon as you do that, you've now given them access to your password that they now hijack and switch, correct?
Yep, that can happen. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Or someone makes a malicious plugin and you connect it to your email without giving your password. You just give it permission to everything. Yeah. So they can do that. And honestly, recovering from an email hack is quite challenging at times.
And you say that your email is probably the most important safety key that you have, correct?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, every account you make on the internet is usually attached to an email. If you've ever forgotten your password, what do you do to recover your password? Yeah. You press the recover password button, which sends you an email. So even if you have different passwords in all your accounts, anyone who has access to your email can just recover all those passwords and change them.
Yeah.
Can someone use my phone number to hack me? Use your phone number to hack you. I mean, they could text you a malicious link and you click on.
Maybe for the CIA.
Someone could SIM swap. Someone could steal your phone number or clone your phone number in order to get two-factor codes in order to hack you. And not like the number itself will be used as a hack, but the number could be used to facilitate a hack. So. Kinda.
FBI, DEA.
If someone hacks my phone number, can they track my location?
Depends.
Private citizens? Probably not. Yes, you can track phone numbers from the SIM card via cell phone towers and use triangulation technology, but that's usually at the cell phone company government level
or if
stuff.
you have somebody's Apple account You may be able to get into Find My Friends, right? With regards to a phone number.
Well, they're not really stealing. Has access to they could, yes,
Yeah.
but they would also need the password.
Yeah.
So just the phone number, not very likely. It's more like a government level thing.
Yeah, and it's probably a little bit more likely in the United States, where in the US, their privacy is not as high as it is up here in Canada, whereas here in Canada, there's very little you can attain from a phone number other than maybe who their internet or cellular provider is going to be, right? So,
can someone hack my device and steal my photos?
yes.
Anything is technically possible. So, yeah, it can happen.
Yeah.
Challenging.
What we find, though, is a lot of times where photos are stolen or leaked is because you lent your phone to a friend. You didn't have proper safety precautions on your photo album. And as they're using your phone, they go, I wonder what Brandon has in his photo album. Boop, click on your photo albums and go, oh, there's some spicy pictures. Let's just copy those and send them to my account, and then I'll post them publicly.
Or people use photo backup apps and they forget about them and they don't have good passwords on the cloud backup. Those are some, or someone downloads an app that gives their entire phone permission to access the photos to a different app. Yeah. Someone else see my Xbox messages or video game voice chats? Yes, actually. Every gaming platform is going to be different, but yes, gaming platforms are monitoring chats that are happening on their servers. I know Activision's Call of Duty has been pretty big in regards to people in the in-game voice chat. The voice chat is converted to text, it's analyzed, and it's scanned for abusive material. So yeah, indeed, more and more games, voice chat and text chat are being scanned and being held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if a hacker gets control of my phone? What should I do first?
Nuke it.
Yeah, I would say that's worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah. Gets access to your phone, like for example, they hack in remotely. Well, I would say probably turn it off, right? If they're somehow sneakily in your phone, which is going to be very challenging for them to do that. But if that does happen, you turn it off. Yeah. That's the first step.
I mean, I can speak to iPhones, right? Because iPhones have a setting on there that if you lose your phone or somebody steals your phone without you knowing, you can immediately basically lock it down, nuke it, and they just won't have access to it, right? So
yeah, if someone's taken the phone, then yes, that's a good way.
Yeah. So like in a bar, not that I go to bars, or other public places where maybe a phone is pickpocketed out of you or stolen out of a purse or whatever, right? Having proper security precautions in place on your phone for anti-theft, if in case they do go missing, that you can immediately lock it down so that they can't access it, right?
Yep. How can I tell if an email's from a hacker or is a phishing or scam email? Well, you're going to check who the email's from. That's the number one way.
And one of the ways to do that is to put your mouse over the email address, right, and see what it actually says. So like if it says it's from Apple, and then you highlight the email from Apple and it shows from Bob Jardins at hacker.com, that in policing we would call a clue.
Yeah.
Right. So that's another way to kind of let you know if the email is legit or not.
That's the primary way.
The problem that we're facing now is AI, right? And some of the things and how they're making phishing and scam is like looks so real now. Like it's really hard.
Yeah, the education around looking at the content of the email is less so efficient nowadays because AI.
Yeah, because remember, a lot of times we used to say, look for misspelling, look for misuse of language, because a lot of these people would come from countries where English is a second language, right? Well, with AI now, you don't have to worry about that, right?
Yeah, or even using AI to build graphics that look legitimate.
Yeah, for sure.
For someone who didn't have good graphics design skills.
Yeah, do you see how Grok has got themselves into a lot of problems right now with respect
to... Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that probably on one of our news shows.
Excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah, it's harder to tell, but checking the email who it's from is your number one best strategy. What scams are most successful right now, and how can I avoid them? Ooh.
I still think sextortion is still fairly prominent out there amongst youth, especially teen boys, although we're seeing a little bit of a shift to teen girls because I think there's been a lot of education to teen boys, not so much to teen girls on this issue. Sextortion from somebody who they do not know, love, or trust. I mean, teen girls, it's more about, sextortion from somebody who you know, love, or trust, usually after a breakup, your partner who you shared your intimate image with now threatens to post that publicly, right? So, but we are starting to see a little bit of a tick now towards cappers, the criminal element now targeting teen girls as well. So
yeah. From the traditional scams, I think we're still seeing the email captures.
That's a big one.
Here's a fake email. Log into your account. Click this button. Takes you to a fake website. In that sense, don't log in via links someone sends you or buttons someone sends you.
And the other thing that we're finding too, Brandon, is that what I mentioned earlier is where they will send you a code to help them do what it is they're doing. And usually that comes from somebody whose account has already been taken over by a bad person. So when you look at it and go, oh yeah, that's from Brandon, so it's got to be good. You trust that. And as soon as you click on that, you fall into the deep hole, right? It just gets worse. So
why can people learn information about you from just an email? Because you build a digital footprint via your email.
And sometimes emails also in the header have things like GPS location, right? So
usually like IP address, potentially, depending on how the email server is built.
Yeah. So those are all things that you need to be aware of, right? Like in the metadata, the stuff you don't see, there could be stuff there that help them kind of pinpoint maybe where you're located in the world.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But like you say, as an online investigator, there's lots of times where I'm searching somebody's name and I don't find anything. But if I find their email address or their cell phone number or their usernames and I plug that in, all of a sudden there's all this stuff that was there. Because again, a lot of us, when we register for social media platforms, what do you need? A username, a cell phone number, and an email address. And those are all searchable. So
how do I prevent my TikTok account from getting hacked? Having a good password, having good habits around your password, not logging into TikTok from weird third-party sites, logging in directly to the app, and using two-factor, enabling that if you want to be extra secure. Yeah. Those are your basic steps.
Yeah.
Can schools and employers look at my Visco account? If it's public, they can.
Yeah, they can. Now, one of the benefits to Visco is it's very hard to search, right? So, I mean, it's much harder to search than others. But if somebody knows your Visco account and it's not private, then they'll be able to see everything there, right? So
any public account you have, anyone can look at. So make that assessment as you will. Which apps are riskier? Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, or Discord?
This guy kind of reminds me of the Coke versus Pepsi versus the Dr. Pepper contra, which is better, right? Like they all have their strengths, they all have their weaknesses, right? So they're all just tools. It's how you use the tool that is going to make it risky or not, right?
It depends on the risk you're looking at. So if you're looking at risk in terms of coming across content that you may find inappropriate, TikTok.
Yeah.
If you're looking at content where someone's looking to exploit you, maybe Discord, potentially Snapchat.
I think Snapchat is used as a gateway in order to move people over into more private chats when it comes to sextortion. And Instagram is also used for the purposes of kind of learning more about who you are as an individual, to learn your interests, that I can use for the purposes of social engineering. So again, like you said, Brandon, each one of them has, depending upon especially as an online investigator, but if I was a bad guy, and a lot of people say that if I wasn't a police officer, I'd be a crook. They want to know about you, right? What makes you tick? And so TikTok. So as a result of that, they can use these platforms for a variety of different reasons, right?
Yeah. So neither one more than the other.
Pepsi, Coke, Dr. Pepper.
If Snap location sharing is risky, then what is it used for? And how can I use it safely?
Yeah, well, if you're going to use Snap Maps, only use it with people who you know and who you're following. Where people will use it is if you're a part of a group. right? Whatever that group is, and you kind of want to see where everybody is. You want to meet them at a certain location. That's where that's where it can come in effective. Where we're seeing problems with this is on digital relationship abuse, where, I mean, we helped a teen at a high school whose partner demanded that they allow them to follow them on their Snap Maps so they could keep track of them 24/7, right? So that becomes an issue. Or if your Snap Maps is public, well, then it also gives those who maybe have some ill intent to find you, because the Snap Maps is actually very accurate. I mean, one of the things that policing do a lot of times, if a youth goes missing and they know that that youth has a Snapchat account, one of the first things they'll do is they'll ask a friend, well, are they on your, do you have them as a friend on Snapchat? And if they do, is their Snapchat Maps on, right?
Sometimes people forget they have it on.
Correct. And so as a result of that, police are able to locate that teen fairly quickly. So
I honestly don't really see a huge, I don't see very many reasons why Snap Maps is a beneficial feature. Like, could I imagine a possibility where maybe you are attending a fair and your friends are all around, you want to see which attractions your friends are on? Okay, maybe. But then, you know, to use it more safely, use it intentionally and turn it on, turn it off on the exact moments you want to share for the particular purposes and the reasons as to why you're sharing it.
Or another good example is where it's being used in inappropriate ways is for drug dealers, right? Like you connect with them. You can buy anything on Snapchat now. You connect with a local drug dealer on Snapchat, a deal is made, and then you say, okay, I'll meet you here. And then they'll use Snap Maps to locate where you are to go and meet up with you to do the deal, right? So.
Yeah. And then they get caught because they're being tracked and law enforcement is watching them too.
Yeah.
What if a rando asks for my name and location on Discord?
Well, then don't give it to them. Pretty simple.
Block and delete them.
Yeah, pretty simple, right? So, and you got to be careful because often these guys, and I'll use guys, it could be a female, but a lot of times it's a guy, they'll groom you into that process. So it's not as if they're going to say, you know, what's your name? Where are you located? They're not going to say that right away. They used to in the old days, ASL, what's your age, your sex, and your location. Today, they're a little bit more discreet about that, right? Because they want to build that confidence, you know, that grooming process in order to, you know, get the information that they need to their advantage. But, you know, if a rando is asking you, there was a really good book out by an individual. It's called The Gift of Fear, written by Gavin DeBecker. And one of the things that Gavin said in his book is that when people start to ask you really personal questions and you really don't know them that well, danger, danger, danger. Well, no truer words have been spoken. And that book was written before social media ever became popular. So,
yeah. If I don't use social media at all, how do I still stay safe online? Well, if you're not using social media, you still probably have an email. You probably have a Google account. You probably have an Apple account, you probably have some not social media accounts, but just online accounts in general. So privacy is important there as well. Good security, good passwords, two-factor authentication. All the same rules apply on any account if they're social media or if they're not social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you handle pressure from someone online?
Yeah. You know, one of the things that, you know, I talk about this in our digital peer aggression or cyberbullying presentation is that don't feed the trolls, right? Like these trolls, their whole purpose, a lot of times, they're very Machiavellian in nature. Their whole purpose is try to heat you up to get a response from you. And once they do that, they go, I got you. And they just keep pouring it on. So one of the best ways to deal with those types of pressures is just ignore it. You know, don't block it right away, just ignore it. And then usually they'll see that they're not getting your goat. And so as a result of that, they'll just move on to their next target. And if it doesn't get better, then go ahead and block them at that point in time. That would be my recommendation.
Yep, that's fair. What if there's online harm, but I don't have clear evidence or proof of it?
Yeah, that's the challenge from a policing perspective, right? So I'll talk about it from a policing perspective. You may want to talk it from a different perspective. But in order for the police to get involved, we need evidence, right? We can't just knock on somebody's door and make an accusation without evidence to back that accusation, because if we do, we get ourselves in a lot of trouble, right? So that's why evidence is extremely important. Now, it may not be so important when it comes to maybe reporting them to, say, a social media platform, right? maybe they're violating a terms of service, which is not necessarily the burden of proof. There is not necessarily beyond a reasonable doubt. It's more of a balance of probability, right?
Yeah. Is the harm criminal in nature, or is it more civil in nature, or is it just mean or rude?
Yeah. Like rude or mean behavior, there's not a lot of police or even teachers or anybody's going to be able to do about that. But a lot of times that violates terms of service on a social media platform. And by reporting it, well, then maybe that social media platform will take action. And we are seeing some of these platforms now starting to take action. Not going to lie to you, not all of them. And sometimes it takes a little longer than what people want.
Neither do police take action on everything that's brought to their attention.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
So it's not, I wouldn't put, the 100% perfection should be applied to everyone, not just social media. Because I don't think any agency anywhere has 100% effectiveness on anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. AI might fix that. We'll see in the future.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is it difficult to help other people with online problems? And if so, why?
You know, we handle phone calls, emails, messages all the time from teens, preteens, parents, educators, even law enforcement. And a lot of times we're able to help. Now, not going to lie to you, there are times where there's not a lot we can do, but if we can't help you, we usually know somebody who does. And then we'll be able to kind of pass you off to that individual who may be able to help you. But are there situations where maybe we've tried everything and there's nothing more we can do? Well, the honest answer to that question is yes.
Not always a solution to a problem.
No. However, we have found that in most cases, the large majority of cases, by getting involved and them reaching out, we're able to help them. And sometimes that help is just emotional and psychological in nature, allowing a client just to vent to us and to hear from us, you're not alone, right? Like a lot of times that in and of itself is enough to help somebody to get them from red alert down to yellow alert, as I like to say, right? So, helping with problems, a lot of people think, okay, how are you going to help me with what happened to my website or my app? Sometimes it's more about the person emotionally and psychologically. So
how can I protect myself from being turned into an AI image or video?
Don't post a picture or video. I mean, that's the only way, unfortunately.
You can't.
Right?
But even then, you can't leave your home because there's nothing stopping someone taking a picture of you in public and then AIing it. So what? You're never going to leave a bedroom?
I mean, I think we were actually pretty strategic in that we started talking about AI about a year and a half ago, right? As soon as it started to appear on the radar, a little bit more than the average. And, AI is changing the entire field when it comes to online safety, security, and privacy. It really is. And so as a result of that, the reality is that if your picture, image, or video appears online, right? Maybe like you say, a friend maybe takes the picture of you and posts it on their social media site. Well, once it gets downloaded, it can now be used by AI, right? Or somebody could, if it's posted publicly, there's nothing to stop somebody from screen capturing that and then using AI to nudify it or to do some other weaponization of it. So
So unfortunately, the answer is you can't.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the equation, right? Certainly has.
What is the best way to tell if an image or video or audio clip is AI?
You know what? With things like VO3 and some of the other things that are out there right now, if this was a year ago, we would say look for mouth and words not matching up. Look for jittering. Look for inconsistencies like a sixth finger when there's
too much perfection in what a person looks like.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But the newest version, and VO is coming out with their new version in another month. I've looked at this stuff, and even with people who have been involved in this stuff for years, I can't tell the difference. And that is what's scary right now, right? So it's really, really, really hard to do that. So, I mean, there are some things that you can do on video. One of the things that a really good researcher in the United States that we follow said, if you're streaming with somebody, because we demonstrated in our presentations how you may be streaming with somebody, say on FaceTime or on Bigo or some of the other streaming platforms, and you think you're talking to a 16-year-old from California. They sound, they look, they do everything right. You say, touch your nose, touch your ear, give me a thumbs up. They do it. It looks absolutely real. And then all of a sudden, if things get spicy and you're doing something sexually in front of your camera you shouldn't be doing, boof, all of a sudden, boof, this person appears in front of you who's no longer that 16-year-old girl, but a 55-year-old male from the Ivory Coast of Africa with no front teeth trying to cap you online for extortion, right? So one of the things that this researcher said is that AI still has a lot of trouble, and things could change over because AI is changing so quickly. But they said, if you're streaming with somebody and you've never met them before, it's the first time you're streaming, one of the things you can do is have them with a piece of paper and a pen, draw a circle on camera and then show you that circle. AI has a real problem kind of replicating that. Or if they're using their phone, to do it with you, have them turn the phone so that it's now looking and angle it so it's looking at a window or a door. And then if what you're seeing, AI has a real habit of coming back to you now smoothly. So there's still little tricks. But the problem with AI, Brandon, as you know, is like it's almost every week it is getting better and better and better. Right? Because it's learning from itself. Mm-hmm. And we as humans are feeding so much information into these AI algorithms right now by posting our pictures online because, hey, post your picture online so that we can create this great profile picture for your resume. Well, the reason they're doing that for free is because they're using your pictures to help train their LLM.
But then again, you have a benefit in the hiring process because you're using AI to leverage your ability that you can outcompete against your competition.
I know, right?
So it's kind of, if you do,
It is such a new, it's such a new frontier. Like, yeah, we've said this, right? Like AI is going to be a bigger disruption than the Industrial Revolution. In fact, I think it's going to be 10 times more disruptive. And we're in the wild, 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 wild west of it right now, mm-hmm. right? And we're still trying to figure out scaffolding and doing stuff like that. So I'm just happy that we as a company are ahead of this and really up to speed on a lot of this stuff, and we can share it. And as you know, Julia Hellinger, who we consult mm-hmm. with, who teaches this at a university level, is now coming on board to help us as well, right? Which is mm-hmm. kind of cool.
Is the risk of AI misuse getting worse over time? The amount of people who will misuse technology or anything will still misuse technology or anything. Right. Lazy people will always be lazy and yep. find ways to maintain laziness.
Evil people will always be evil and use AI for evilness.
Yeah. Creative and productive people will use technology to be creative and productive. So
as of this recording, we've now interviewed 3 teens who, through the use of AI, have developed apps that are going to change the world from a health standpoint, right? Yeah. Like it's not the tool, it's how people will use the tool. So are the risks of AI misuse getting worse? Well, they're increasing because they're now being weaponized by some individuals. On the other side of the coin, however, there's tons of people using AI in so many positive ways. In fact, using it to capture those who are using it in a weaponized way, right?
I searched my name and it shows someone else. What should I do to increase my rankings and essentially overthrow the person who is #1 on Google?
Yeah, one of the things that we teach is that, when you're posting, make sure you have a really good profile picture of yourself and always associate that profile picture with your social media platform so that when mm-hmm. you're putting it out there on your resumes, because one of the things you can talk about, what did you do with a resume where you put all your links and stuff, right?
Yeah, you can link your social networks on potential resumes so employers can get more information about you if you're going into an interview process.
Yeah.
That's a strategy.
So that when they search you online, if it's darrenlaur.com, well, the picture of darrenlaur.com is actually you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's, again, could it be AI generated? Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Right. But at least they know it's likely going to be you. And most hiring people are going to do a deeper dive on that, right? So
yeah, when it gets to the final stages of like a hiring process, potentially. Yep.
Use the same email address for all your social media platforms. So again, there's references there.
Yeah. To become more searchable on the internet, sign up for more platforms by using your real name. If you're able, have the ability to run your own website where you have your name, that is one of the best searchable things you can do is have a domain in your name.
And Google Sites is a free way to do it. A little vanilla, but at least it's a way you can do it. It's owned by Google, so it's going to be searchable. But the reality is if you want to create your own website, well then, a pay for play like Wix that we use gives it more flavor. It allows them to see more of who you are, you're more of your character, right?
Yep. Someone spreads a rumor that I sent or asked for spicy pics. What do I do about it? Someone spreads a rumor. Unless you can actively identify the person, yes, there are like civil legal matters, but hey, that's going to cost you a lot of money. Not necessarily a criminal offense if they're just spreading lies to a degree. It depends.
This happened when I was in middle school and high school prior to technology. Yes, when I was in middle school and high school, we didn't have cell phones, right? But this has been a problem for years, right? So the challenge, or actually the challenge is identifying who it is and then dealing with it that way.
Yeah, likely that would probably fall under your school safety acts or your school appropriate behavior policies.
Yeah, and if the rumors are defamatory or slanderous in nature, well, then there could be a civil remedy there as well, right? So,
but most people don't have the resources or ability to go down that road.
Exactly.
So likely you're going to have to deal with that through your school disciplinary process. If I don't show my face in spicy pics, can I still be identified?
We get that one a lot. The answer is it's harder, but yeah, like what's in your background is a good example. It's amazing as online investigators how much we learn about an individual based upon not the person we see in the picture, but what we see behind the person in the picture.
Yeah.
Right? So like if you're wearing a piece of clothing that has your name on it in the school, well, guess what? Although your face is not in the picture, at least we know a name and the school you're going to now is a really good example of that, right?
Yeah. If someone refuses to delete my spicy pics, what can I do about it?
Okay, so spicy pics, we're going to make the assumption nudes. Intimate images.
What I have done here is I have replaced those words with spicy pics in order for YouTube's algorithm.
Okay.
So we don't get demonetized or we don't get punished by YouTube.
So that's what we mean by
when I'm saying spicy pics, I mean what you mean.
Okay, gotcha.
I changed those words.
Okay. So can we say like pictures without your clothes on? Would that be okay?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
It's when you say intimate image and I think nudes, those are key terms YouTube doesn't like.
Okay. Pictures without your clothes on. How's that?
I think that might be fine.
All right.
I don't know.
We'll see. But
we'll try it.
Here in Canada, again, could differ from country to country, state to state in the United States. But here in Canada, Supreme Court has basically ruled that, hey, listen, you can, excuse me. Go ahead. You take over.
Sure.
What has the Supreme Court said on that issue?
So two teens under the age of 18, you do have the ability to have your images returned or destroyed upon request. If you're over the age of 18, that's more challenging. It's only when the pictures are being distributed beyond your agreed parameters. Yeah. So it depends.
Yeah. Supreme Court has highly suggested, though, that if you ask a person to delete your pics and they don't do it, there could be some significant legal consequences coming your way in Canada.
Yeah, if you're under the age of 18.
Under the age
older,
of 18.
That's more challenging.
Yeah. But now here in British Columbia, we got things like the Intimate Image Protection Act. I see that there's a new bill before the Canadian government at a federal level to make the possession and distribution of spicy pics illegal under the criminal code as well. So
I have an ex or friend who has photos of me, not spicy photos. I want them deleted after I asked. What should I do? Because they're not deleting them.
Well, if they're not spicy, there's nothing you can do, right? Here in Canada, we have one-party consent.
Yeah.
Right. So if the picture was taken by you, by them, or if I have a camera and I'm taking a picture, and even if you don't want the picture taken, I'm the one party, so it's not illegal. Mm-hmm. Where this gets interesting is if the picture they have is owned by the person who sent it. So if I took the picture of myself and sent it to you, then technically I have copyright on that.
Yeah, but that's only if they're using it in a commercial sense.
Correct.
If it's for personal use.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's interesting. Context is going to be everything, but in most cases, not a lot that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be a fair comment, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, so if I'm male and I'm shirtless playing football and someone takes a picture of that, does that count as an intimate image?
Yeah. I say no.
I have seen a lot of debates, but a lot of these laws don't necessarily reflect current gender policies, gender protections. So now, a lot of these like intimate image laws have an exemption in regards to, hey, if it's in a private place, if it's public, that's a different story. So it's because you're in a public place, even if you change your identity. I don't know. I've not seen a court rule on this, but I can definitely see that being a question.
Yeah, having been involved in the court system for over 30 years, I say no at this point in time. That specific scenario, that specific context.
Yeah.
Now, if he's playing football shirtless in his bedroom with his girlfriend, who's shirtless in the bedroom, well, context is a little different there, right? Like, you know what I mean? So, but in that specific case, the answer is nothing. No.
Likely. We can't give you a clear, definitive answer because we
can get pretty close.
We get pretty close. We can give you what we've seen. But hey, a court.
We're not lawyers.
A court could rule, nor judges. And a court could rule, a judge could write in a PDF text on anything they may deem in that moment. So, yeah. Is it illegal to have spicy pics of yourself if you don't share them?
Go for it.
It depends where you live. Yes, in some places, some regions, taking a spicy pic, a selfie of yourself, can be a federal criminal crime.
Mostly in the United States.
There are some places in the U.S. where that has happened.
How about Canada?
In places like Canada and other U.S. states, no, a young person does have that right and protection because it's for their own personal private use.
And that's important. Why? Because here in Canada, there's still people who tell teens, if you have a spicy picture of yourself that you have on your phone, even if you're not sharing it, it's on your phone, you're now in possession of child sexual abuse material, what used to be called child pornography. And that's just not true. And by saying that, you're also preventing that person that if that picture goes public from coming forward because they're now afraid that they're going to be arrested. Where the Supreme Court has said, nay, 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 right? That's just not true.
Mm-hmm. If someone sends unwanted spicy pics repeatedly, could that be harassment or illegal?
Absolutely. It can under the criminal code. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
If you take a photo or video of someone, are you required to delete it if they ask? If it's just a normal photo in public, nope, not at all. Is it maybe appropriate if you want to, maintain a positive standing with that person? Well, that's a determination you have to make. If it's something where it's maybe a spicy picture, it depends on your legal protections on where you're located.
Correct. Yeah, I would agree with that comment.
Is it illegal to keep photos of someone without their permission?
It depends upon the type of pictures. Like if it's non-spicy pictures, probably not. If it's spicy pictures and you're keeping it on your phone without their permission, could be.
And you're under the age of 18.
Yeah.
That's the main key
right?
point there.
Yeah, it could be, right? So context is everything.
Are governments working on laws or safeguards for AI-generated images or videos, such as watermarking?
Lots of discussions now taking place here in Canada anyways. On that, no laws passed at this point in time. It'll be interesting to see where it lands.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. In the United States, there's a lot of states trying to pass AI-generated laws, but now the federal government has hopped in to say no.
Because they want to be economically competitive.
So now there's big fights there. There are going to be court challenges between states' rights and federal rights. So it'll be interesting to see where that's going. There's some other countries, a good example, Great Britain, who passed or are passing some AI-generated images laws right now under their new act that they got there.
But that doesn't stop me as so sure, an image might be an AI image might be illegal in, say, Europe somewhere. Yeah. But hey, I, as a Canadian, can still post it on the internet.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like, although there was a viral video, a post of I think it was a British chief went on the internet going, we're going to charge people internationally for breaking our local laws.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. Or there's some countries, one in particular south of us, that just took action on that, where they actually invaded another country to arrest their president on their sovereign territory as a law enforcement action to have them shipped and deported back in the United States to answer to federal law, right? Like it's getting ridiculous.
Or it's like how some online websites who are being negatively impacted by certain age requirement gaps, where those websites do not have servers or staff in those countries, are saying, hey, we don't have to abide by your age check laws because, hey, we don't exist in your country. So
I think, what is it? Australia? Is it Reddit that are fighting that one right now? Or
Reddit was one making a challenge.
But what was the other one?
There was 4chan.
Yeah, 4chan. Well.
And then there were, I think there's a few other small ones. But
saying your law doesn't apply to me. I'm a U.S.-based company.
Yeah,
right?
Precisely. So the only solution is governments to build their own national great firewalls.
Kind of like China.
Hey, it works for them.
I know, but I don't want to be China.
That's the only logical solution.
I know.
Is the imagined world people want to have where online harms are removed is you have to firewall your nation.
But then what happens is Elon Musk turns on all his satellites. So anybody who's got one of his internet access satellite dishes will be able to access that in that country, right?
Yeah, but you can ban those products from entering your country.
Good luck.
You can also ban the usage, much like
good luck.
You can have a Wi-Fi router, but you can't change it into a jammer.
I mean, it's kind of like what's going on with North and South Korea now, where like South Korea launches helium balloons that have all these USB sticks on all kinds of the good stuff that's happening in South Korea and floats it over North Korea. And so what does North Korea do? They float balloons back that have a bunch of garbage and like just really bad stuff in it over South right, Korea.
Ideally, yeah, sure, governments would ban bad stuff on the internet, but hey, you have a global network and economic world
and
you have
who's
to consider.
Going to enforce it, right? So,
well, yeah, because the UN doesn't do a whole lot anymore. Why do some governments or authorities struggle to stop online sexual exploitation and abuse images?
It's because of where these bad guys are located in the world.
Yeah.
That's primarily the main reason why, right? It's really hard for them. We can pass a law here in Canada when it comes to sexual exploitation, which we have. We can also pass a law when it comes to intimate images, which we have, and we're going to further strengthen here in Canada. But if the individual is from a non-NATO-based type country, well, then how do we enforce it? Right now, there are some exceptions to the rule. We had a young man here in British Columbia who took their life by suicide because of sextortion, where these people were from a non-NATO country and we didn't have an extradition treaty signed with them. But the RCMP still went to that country, worked with that country's law enforcement, was able to identify the two individuals responsible, and both of them are now serving multiple life sentences in jail. But that's a one-off. And the amount of money that the RCMP spent to do that was into the hundreds of thousands, if not close to $1 million. And there's no way financially they're going to be able to do that on every case, right? So therein lies the problem, right? Mm-hmm. So we can have the laws here in Canada, but if these laws are being broken by actors outside of our country who are hosting themselves in countries that are not NATO friendly, now what? Right? Yep. Now what?
Why does it feel like authorities just leave people on their own when it comes to online abuse?
Well, I'm going to answer honestly, Brandon. Number one, the authorities number one, maybe they're lazy. That's one thing. Number two, maybe they don't know how to go about doing that, which is not uncommon, is probably the third reason. And the fourth reason is sometimes when they get the initial complaint, it takes time to investigate that. It's not like CSI that a lot of people see on TV where they can solve a cyber crime in less than an hour. Like these types of cases can take months, if not years. And a lot of times the police won't update a victim as to what's going on only because they don't want to put the case in jeopardy, especially if they're putting hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars into the investigation. So those are three primary reasons. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. There have been some cases that we've involved with families where the police officers didn't do what they should have done. And as a result of that, we turn the heat up. And then all of a sudden things get done.
Yeah. And other times it's not all bad things on the internet get to a level where it needs police intervention. And there are so many small bad things that happen to everyone every day, all the time, that there's just not enough resources, officers, investigators to deal with all of it. It's normally the most serious stuff gets dealt with first.
For sure.
But that means all the other stuff. Yeah, at times you are kind of, unfortunately, you kind of have to, you're left on your own, which is why we work hard to make sure when people go online, they have a really good, strong foundation in order to reduce that risk, because preventing problems from the first go is one of the best strategies, because it's not always a solution.
Or the other thing we'll do too is we'll actually do the background investigative work for them, tie it up in a really nice package with a bow and give it to them, and then say, take this to the police, because basically we've done the job of the investigation. Now all the police need to do is get a search warrant in order to get that information for the purposes of a charge. So we've done that several times as well.
Are you some kind of lawyer?
Only on TV. No, we're not.
Your background is in 30 years of law enforcement.
Right. So I'm not a lawyer, but I understand the law. Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, and we follow it quite closely in this field.
Yeah, we're also cautious about making interpretations when people ask us questions. Normally what we do is we refer to case law. Like, here's what a judge said in the situation. I can't tell you if your situation you can or can't, but in this example, in an actual court case, here's what happened. So we tread that line very carefully.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite law?
I don't know, right?
Probably for me, mischief.
Yeah. That's the one that's overused.
Right? Yes. So, it's like anything that annoys another person, mischief.
It's there's some there are some rules in the criminal code that are still there that applied back to the horse carriage days, right? That has no relevance in today's world. But I mean, yeah.
Least favorite law maybe coming up is how governments might want to regulate the internet.
Okay, here we go. I got an answer for that.
Yeah,
what is your least favorite law? Nanny-based law, right? So nanny-based law is where government attempts to be the parent rather than allowing parents to do the job. So that's what I mean by nanny-based law. So that's my least favorite law, is where governments are trying to be the parent rather than leaving it to the parents to make that decision.
To be fair, some parents don't do the job very well.
I agree with that as well, right? But in those cases, when parents don't do that, then there's other things that we can go after them for under other acts and other statutes and stuff. But, I have a real problem when government is trying to dictate to a family what a family should and shouldn't be doing, especially when it comes to social media safety and digital.
As long as a family, if their choices are not infringing on the young person's rights and freedoms.
Yeah. But the other thing here is a family knows their child best. So a really good example, Australia law, they do not, period, end of story. If you're 16, you can't sign up for an account. There's a fallacy with regards to Australian. A lot of people think, well, the Australian law is preventing people from accessing social media. Wrong. They can still access TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is, all the ones that they've identified. They just can't create an account on those, right? And the account prevents them from having any kind of communication flow with them, which just means they communicate off a different platform. But I think what that law should have done is to say, you know what, leave it up to a parent to make a decision, because I know some 14-year-olds who have the maturity level of a 19-year-old, and I know some 19-year-olds who have the maturity level of a 12-year-old. So let's leave it to the parent to make that decision. And rather than concentrating on the child, let's concentrate on the social media platforms themselves, using a safety by design approach to policy and legislation. Thus endeth my sermon.
What is your favorite part of this job?
Meeting people, staying engaged, working with my son, which is kind of cool as well. And just meeting people and helping people as well, right? That's kind of the favorite parts of doing what it is I do.
Yeah. Again, I get to work with you. And I think the fun part is when we actually actively make people have better online experiences and prevent those bad things from happening.
Yeah, I think the other favorite part of our job too is shining a light more on the positive sides of what teens and youth are doing with social media and technology. I think there's just too much focus on this negative stuff. I actually just wrote an article on that I'll release later this week. But I think sometimes we forget that there are far more teens doing all kinds of positive stuff with social media and technology, and we need to start acknowledging that fact more so that we're bringing more balance to this type of discussion.
Mm-hmm. Probably a question for me. What is your D&D class?
Dine and Dash?
No, Dungeons and Dragons.
I know.
For me, I usually do the DM role, but if I'm not, I will probably go towards Warlock class.
Okay, for me,
Yeah, that's fair.
Over my head.
That's fair.
Right? Dine and Dash, I can help you with that. It's illegal. Right? It's illegal.
Well, those were some of the top unanswered questions from December. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you all again next month.
And welcome to the new year, everybody.
Indeed. Bye-bye for now.